everyone who's joined us. We've got a 25-minute presentation for you today. If you've got any questions throughout the presentation, you can type in the chat box, which you'll find at the bottom of your screen. It's a little conversation tab, and Gemma and I will be keeping an eye on that. So if there's any burning questions, let us know. And then if there's anything we can't answer, of course, you're welcome to find us in our booths later during the event as well. So that's a quick welcome from me. My name's Fionn. I join you from the University of St Andrews, and I'll pass to my colleague, Gemma.
Thanks, Fionn. Hi, everyone. My name is Gemma Connell, and I'm one of the student recruitment managers at the University of Stirling. So we're going to be presenting a short presentation today. We're going to take you through what it's like to study in Scotland and a little bit about the degree structure in Scotland. We're also going to shamelessly plug our institutions and tell you a little more about our own institutions. But you'll hopefully come away with a really good understanding of how the degree structure in Scotland differs from that in the rest of the UK. I'm just frantically admitting people as we go in as well. So if I'm looking all over the place, that's just what I am doing, making sure everyone gets in okay. This is recorded, so if you do miss the start, don't worry. Like Fionn said, just pop questions in the chat. Fionn and I will try and answer those throughout the presentation as quickly as possible, and we'll leave a bit of time at the end as well. So studying in Scotland then, we're going to move to the next slide and give you a bit of an indication about all the different institutions within Scotland that you can study at. So these are all the institutions, learning institutions, higher education in Scotland. So there's 19 different learning institutions, and they all differ in size, in scale. Some are up in the north of Scotland, some are in the south of Scotland, some are on the coast. You'll get some campus universities. You'll also get some city universities as well. Some are very small with maybe only 3,000 or 4,000 students, and others are really big with around 30,000 or 40,000 students. But we're really proud we work well with all of these different universities. So do be sure and check any of them out that are here today within the event. So we're just going to shamelessly plug our own institutions for a few minutes. I hope you don't mind if we take the time to do that. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Stirling first of all. So this is our city of Stirling. So Stirling is a city that's right in the heart of Scotland, right in the central belt of Scotland, really close to Edinburgh and Glasgow airports, really accessible and easy to get to. You'll see this lovely picture of the city there, the drone shot. The Wallace Monument is there in the picture as well. The Wallace Monument overlooks our campus and overlooks the city. It's quite a small city, big town feel. It's only about 90,000 in population, but it's got a really strong student population as part of that. About 20% of the city is made up of students. So you'll see lots of nightlife, lots of restaurants, cafe culture, lots of things that you would expect in a student town, but also mixed with that historic and cultural element of Scotland as well that you would really like to see. So we've got our own castle on campus, lots of greenery, cobbled streets, but that really nice mix of the cultural student experience is part of it too. So just moving on about the campus itself, we are a campus university. So the campus sits about 1.5 miles away from the city centre, and everything that you need is actually on our campus. So we have all of the accommodation on campus. We do have some in the city as well for students who prefer to be in the city. We do have accommodation on our campus for our first year students, and we'll guarantee accommodation for our EU students who have met all the conditions of their offer and applied by the deadlines. And we also have on our campus a doctor's surgery, a dentist, things we hope you'll never need, but it's always good to know that on your doorstep. We've also got a supermarket, and we've got the Students' Union. We've even got our own 9-hole par 3 golf course on our campus, as well as our loch and a small castle. So it's very typically Scottish, a very typically Scottish university. So the campus is about 330 acres. And some of the things that we're really proud of, we are Scotland's University for Sporting Excellence. So we take sport very seriously. If you're really into sport, it's an ideal location to come and either study or perform. We have some elite athletes from the Commonwealth who have played at the Commonwealth or competed at the Olympics, studying and training on our campus in a variety of sports. We've just opened our brand new £20 million sports complex. And our brand new redevelopment, campus redevelopment is opening later this year. It's got new social spaces, new study spaces, just to enhance that student experience. In terms of academics, we've got an incredibly flexible degree structure, and actually we're going to go on to look at that in a bit more detail, so I'm not going to talk too much about that at the minute. We are really strong with our research, and we've got lots of areas where we have really strong research, and our research has been ranked as world leading, which is really encouraging. That's built in and ingrained in all of our teaching. Some really interesting research is we have some of our psychology research actually looked at the voting behaviours in the Eurovision Song Contest. So it just goes to show that it's we're looking at things that are modern, we're looking at things that are a little bit interesting and a little bit different. So we've got our Students' Union. Every university will have a Students' Union. We've got a whole range of clubs and societies that you can join as part of that, from the weird and wonderful to the normal, including things like the Order of the Wizardry Society. I'm not even sure what that is. I'm going to assume it's something to do with Harry Potter. But we're really proud that we are thinking green, and we are the first carbon neutral Students' Union in the UK. So that is something we're incredibly proud of. We also have an undergraduate EU scholarship. So if our students are EU domiciled, international for fee-paying purposes, we have a £5,000 per year discount for years 1 to 3, and an honours year scholarship. So a scholarship covering the full cost of tuition fees in that final year. So you're only paying tuition fees for years 1 to 3, with a £5,000 discount. And we're really proud that we've been able to extend that for 2022-23 academic year. Finally, what can you study with us? Well, we hold a range of subjects that you can study within us. We're not an A to Z, we don't offer everything, but we've got 5 main faculties that you can study within, and these are some of the subjects. Some of the most popular ones, we would say, are things like our film and media. Lots of people will work in the industry after studying this. We have a range of health sciences and sport, very strong and competitive within the sports courses, and we offer some nursing and paramedic science too. We're the world leading institute for aquatic sciences. So if you're thinking animal biology, if you're thinking about any of the aquatic sciences, a really good place to come and study in Stirling. And we offer primary and secondary education, as well as a whole suite of management school, everything from accountancy, business, right through to events management, human resources, marketing, all of these types of things. And you can study cross-faculty as well. So we have degree options that will allow you to study across faculty. I'm going to hand over to Fionn, who's going to tell you a little bit more about her institution, the fabulous St Andrews.
Lovely, thanks very much, Gemma. Warm welcome to those who've just joined us as well. Apologies for looking between screens. I've just been admitting some people and checking the chat. Yeah, so I'm just going to give you a quick overview of the University of St Andrews. For those of you who maybe don't know too much about us or have already done a little bit of research, I hope this will be helpful. But of course, as Gemma said as well, you can come to our booths during the event today to find out more and ask some questions. So this is an aerial shot of the university looking from one of our beaches back at the town. You've got the rolling hills in the distance, and then you've got all your academic buildings and the town itself, shops, restaurants, everything you need is right here. Now, as I say, quick summary of the university, so maybe some food for thought, things for you to explore later as well. We are a medium-sized university. We have about 10,000 students, and of those students, about 40-45% are from outside the UK. So we've got a really great mix, international community. As I say, people from all over the world, bringing their different perspectives, bringing their educational backgrounds into our classrooms, which makes for a really interesting learning experience. As you can see as well, about 45% of the local population are students. So it's a very strong student community. Lots of things going on. I'll talk a little bit about student life at the end, but it's a very, very busy place. I did study at St Andrews, so I can tell you that for sure. It's also a very close-knit community. From my own personal experience as well, it was very easy to meet people. You're constantly bumping into people you know in the town, because it's not a campus. You know, we're not separated from St Andrews. It's all in one place. So all the university buildings are integrated throughout the town, which means you're constantly bumping into people you know, which is something that I loved. Now, in terms of history, we are the first university in Scotland, founded just over 600 years ago. So I studied history. Maybe some of you are interested in that as well, which means it's a great place to study that subject as well as others, because you're surrounded by some beautiful medieval sites as well as these brand new modern facilities as well. In terms of rankings, in terms of global reputation, we are in the world's top 100 for the QS World Rankings. We're ranked 91st in the world, definitely punching above our weight for the size of institution that we are. And just this week, we were ranked first in the UK in the Times and Sunday Times Good University Guide, which we're really proud about because it's the first time in the history of that guide that a university other than Oxbridge has topped that table. So we're really proud of that. I do think one of the most important things to highlight, though, is the student satisfaction. You'll find this across many universities in Scotland, but student satisfaction is high. And I think that's because we've really put a focus on the student experience, on supporting students, and we'll talk a bit about that later as well. In terms of career prospects, you can see 96% of our graduates were either in work or further study within 6 months, and we've got great support again from our careers department, offering things like one-on-one appointments, connecting you with alumni, offering some workshops or career fairs. So there is a lot of support to help our students with their next steps and get the skills that you need for those kind of bright futures wherever it might take you. In terms of teaching, we are research-led, so we're definitely shaped by our academics and what we teach and the content that we offer. So please do your research when you're looking at universities, because we will all teach subjects in different ways, focusing on different things. So just make sure that the courses that we have on offer are ones that you would be really interested in delving into. And as I mentioned before, we do have lots of support, and you can see that from that student to staff ratio, so 12:1. And we try and keep our classes as small as possible, particularly tutorials, which are kind of small roundtable discussions. Now we've got this varied social life. I said I'd come back to this. So we've got 50 sports teams, 200 different clubs and societies, including things like an adventure group and a hill walking society. You've got the Quidditch Club, of course, and you've got some career or academic focused societies as well. There's a whole host of things, so something for everybody. And then the final thing I wanted to say was just our commitment to sustainability. So we do have this aim of being carbon net zero by 2035. We do have our own plans in place to support our sustainable goals, including a plan about planting trees. We've got a biomass plant. So there's a number of things that you can explore if you want to find out a bit more about that. And then very quickly, I just wanted to highlight our different degree options. Now we've got 4 different faculties, as you can see: arts, divinity, science and medicine, and we've got lots of degrees within that. Also lots of different combinations. So some people will be looking into joint degrees, but also, as Gemma said, in Scotland, we've got a flexible degree structure, which allows you to pick up other subjects in your first 2 years, which we'll talk about next. So I just wanted to give you an idea of the type of academic schools we have on offer, and then you can go and explore the specific subjects on our website. Okay, so why Scotland? Well, a number of different reasons why you might choose Scotland. We do have world-leading institutions. Actually, 4 of our universities in Scotland are part of the ancient group, so founded before the 1600s. So we have a long history of higher education across Scotland as well. As I mentioned earlier, we've got this high student satisfaction, and we really do put our students first, and we've got all the support and facilities that they need. Of course, each of our universities is different, so make sure to explore them all, see what we offer, and learn a little bit more about what's important to us. We do also have this global partnership, so some of you might be interested in study abroad. You're thinking about it now, so why not incorporate it into your degree as well? So we've got partnerships with universities across the world, and that might be something that you're interested in. It gives you the chance to explore your subject from a different perspective, and also to immerse yourself in another culture, maybe try and learn another language. So these are things that, again, we place a lot of importance in and on, and Scotland is a very kind of internationally focused place. We are looking at other countries and seeing how we can support you have a really great academic experience. Now, I mentioned this earlier as well, lots of support available at the different universities, so whatever it is you might need, please do get in touch with us, even at this stage, to see what we'll be able to support you with during your degree. And last but not least, we do have great transport links. So whether you're wanting to explore the rest of Scotland, maybe in the weekends or during some of your breaks, you might want to go up north and explore the Highlands and Islands, go and find some lochs, climb some mountains. Maybe you want to go to Inverness, try and find Nessie. These are all things that you can do. We've got really great public transport links, so you can go and explore everything on your doorstep, as well as all the great cities, and then of course the rest of the UK. We do have major airports in Glasgow, Edinburgh. You've also got Aberdeen, Dundee has an airport as well. So lots of flights going there for you to do some exploring if you want. Okay, so back to the degree structure. So very quickly, we do have a 4-year degree. So in Scotland, our degrees are 4 years typically. Some of them will be maybe 5 years if there's an integrated master's, or maybe if it includes a year working abroad. We do have this advanced entry option for some degrees at some universities as well. So that might give you the chance to skip first year and go straight into second year. As I say, is specific to universities and degree structures, and also what you've studied and what curriculum you're taking and the qualification. So do look into that. It does mean that you lose some of that flexibility in the first year, but it might be something that you're interested in. As I mentioned before, study abroad opportunities, we have those available, and make sure to explore those. And then the flexibility. So I wanted to highlight this. Because our degree structure is so flexible, particularly in the first 2 years, you might have the option to transfer between subjects. So some people will come in, they'll study a subject, and then they'll decide, actually, I've been studying this other subject in my first 2 years, and I prefer that, so I'm really enjoying it. So with the help of your advisors and your supporters, you might be able to change the path of your degree, which is something that I really enjoyed, and that was an option when I was studying. So that's just a quick introduction for you. I'm just going to pass over to Gemma now to talk a bit about some example degree structures.
Thanks, Fionn. So as Fion's mentioned, the flexible degree structure, and we just wanted to give an illustration of what this actually looks like from both of our institutions. So at Stirling, for example, you'll study 3 modules per semester. So each semester you'll study your degree module. So if you were doing a degree in psychology, for example, you would study 1 module in psychology, but you would choose 2 outside subjects. Now, these outside subjects could be across the portfolio range at Stirling. You can choose anything. It doesn't have to be linked to your degree or within the same faculty. So this student, for example, has chosen sports studies and business studies. Now, you could change these every semester, or you can keep them the same for the first 2 years. When the student gets into second year, then they need to decide if they want to make any changes into their degree. And if not, then they'll continue to study psychology for the next 2 years. Just if we go to the next slide. So this student then has continued to study psychology, and this is when they'll start to specialize. They'll still do 3 modules, but they'll all be within psychology. So they'll start to specialize within areas of psychology and start to choose optional modules to shape their degree around what interests them. Just to give you a bit of an idea of how it would look if they decided to change, another student might choose a degree in psychology and again choose outside modules. But you actually have the option to change your degree. So this student has changed to a degree in sport studies and business studies. Now, the way that works is they would choose 1 module in sport, 1 module in business, and that 3rd module could be in either sport or business, depending on what they're most interested in. So there is the option to completely change what your degree is if you're not enjoying it. With other UK institutions, this isn't just as flexible. And you've got up until the 2nd year of university to change your degree. This isn't possible if your degree is shorter, if it's only 3 years. So it's an incredibly, this is why we have such good employment rates, because we have less dropout, because our students are able to choose a variety of subjects. This student's also chosen a semester abroad in support of their studies, another option which you can have at Scottish universities as well. So I'm going to hand over to Fionn just to show you what this looks like from a St Andrews perspective.
Perfect. Thank you, Gemma. Yeah, I've just got 2 quick examples for you here of someone who firstly was in the Faculty of Arts, so they applied for art history. They then picked up other art subjects, because you tend to stick at St Andrews to subjects within your faculty. It might be possible to cross over and pick up a science, for example, but there might be other considerations like timetabling, knowledge requirements. So your advisor will help you with this process. But you can see they've picked up Spanish and philosophy for the first 2 years, focused on those, and then they decided to change their mind. Like Gemma was saying, by second year, there is the option to say, I'm going to change my path. and that's what they've done. So now they've graduated with a Spanish and philosophy joint degree. Similarly, in the Faculty of Science, someone's applied for biology, they've picked up other science subjects, they've narrowed down in second year just to do 2 sciences, and then they focus specifically on marine biology within biology. So there might also be the possibility to really focus down on more specific areas of the course. Okay, so that was the degree structure. I'm just going to run through how you might apply for our programs. And firstly, I'm going to talk about UCAS. International students do have the options at our universities. Again, check each one, but you might also have the option to apply through the direct application or through the Common App, but just have a look at what each university will accept. For UCAS, you can see the deadlines here. So this is the application form that you would use to apply to different universities across the UK. You do have 5 options in UCAS, so 5 different courses, and each of those courses will have a specific UCAS code. So for example, if you're looking at specific joint degrees, you'll find that specific code for that course at that university in UCAS. So these are the things that you'll include in that application. As I said, here are the deadlines to be aware of. So this is for this coming year. For anyone wanting to apply to medicine, dentistry, vet med, also applying to Oxbridge, the 15th of October is your deadline. So just make sure you meet that. For everybody else, other subjects applying through UCAS, you've got the 26th of January. That's the equal consideration deadline by 6 p.m. UK time. Now, as I say, some universities might accept applications to the Common App and direct application from international students. So just check those deadlines because they might be later. So for example, the Common App typically is the 1st of May. Our direct application at St Andrews is the 30th of June. And also international students may continue to apply through UCAS until the 30th of June. However, please be aware of that equal consideration deadline in January. I would always suggest applying before that deadline for everybody. And of course, your schools will have deadlines as well. So work with your counsellors to make sure you've got everything in on time. Now, in terms of what we look at, you can see it listed here. There'll be personal information. We'll look at your choices. We have no idea who else you've applied to for those other courses. So we'll be looking in that personal statement, which I'll talk about next, to be very subject specific, course specific. And we want to know about why you want to study that course. Now, we'll also look at your grades, your education and history, and then of course, the all important reference provided by your school. So personal statement, I know this is something a lot of you have already started looking at. So it is limited, 4,000 characters or 47 lines. I'm sure that sounds like a lot, but as soon as you start drafting, you'll realize it's not. So it needs to be very succinct, include all of the information you want to get across about why you should be chosen to study that program. It should be very academic focused. We at St Andrews say at least 75% should be about that subject. We want to see that clear commitment and motivation, maybe things you've done in and outside of school that relate to it. Keep bringing everything back to that subject. Think, so what? Why am I writing this? Why is it relevant? How is this going to get my motivation across and my passion to all the universities I'm applying to? Make sure you're not just listing things, make sure it's all relevant. If you're talking about any experience, again, just make sure you link it back to the subject. And please proofread and make sure the structure is very clear for us all to read, because that will help us as well. Okay, last thing I'm going to talk about here, because I'm just conscious of time, is student finance and visas. So of course, if you've got questions about this, please let us know. Tuition fees for international students are different at every university. So check our websites, ask us what they are. And also each university will have different scholarships or bursaries available. So Gemma was talking about the EU scholarship, specifically an offer at the University of Stirling. Other Scottish universities might have similar scholarships. At St Andrews, for example, we've got a number of scholarships for international students, some based on merit, some based on financial need. So just check each university's website carefully. In terms of visas, this is something that is expected now from people coming from outside the UK who don't have an immigration status in the UK. So each university will support you with this process of getting that visa in order to study in the UK. And if you've got any questions about this, you can get in touch with us and let us know, including at the event today. Okay, I'll just pass back to Gemma to bring us to the end of the session. Thanks, Gemma.
Great, thanks Fionn. We're just going to run through these super fast so that we can meet our deadline, but do feel free to continue to pop questions into the chat. Accommodation, obviously you'll be needing to apply for accommodation and want to think about accommodation. It'll be a long commute from the EU. Most universities will have accommodation. various different shapes and sizes, some townhouses, some halls of residence, some flats. So do have a look on university websites. It's a great place to meet people. It's a great place to connect with other students from all over the world. There'll be lots of different budget options as well, and there often can be scholarships or funding opportunities for accommodation too. So check on individual universities' websites for this. There's also different packages. So some may include food packages, some may include Wi-Fi and insurance. So ask all the relevant questions about what is included in your accommodation package. We're just going to go on and look really quickly at student life. Every university will have a students' union. They mainly look after the clubs and societies, but they do a number of other things as well, including looking after your welfare. So they are a place where you can go if you've got any issues or any concerns. There's lots of opportunities for volunteering and doing part-time work while you're at university. Just be careful if you're coming on a student visa, there might be limited options for working in terms of the number of hours that you're allowed to work. Lots of universities will work with student ambassadors. This is a great opportunity to build up your CV and also earn a little bit of money as well. Student life is great fun, and every city is really different and offers a very different experience. But lots of universities will have clubs and societies, and they'll all do a freshers week or a welcome week to really engage you into that student life. And just really finally, I wanted to talk about student life in Scotland in general. If you're really into music, into the arts, we have a number of festivals that you can join and that you can come and be part of, whether that's cultural festivals, music festivals, theatre, arts, the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, which was back this year, lots to get involved with and really something for everyone. And lastly, with sport, we have sports for everyone as well, whether you are into team sports or whether you're into the outdoor sports and mountain walking, skiing, or a little bit of golf. We've got over 550 golf courses around Scotland. Quite a lot in and around St Andrews, I must admit, but that's a great quiz question for you. Something for absolutely everyone. So we were a little bit rushed at the end there, but we got there. Thank you so much to all of you for joining Fiona and I. It's been lovely to be able to chat to you. I can see there's a couple of questions in the chat. We're going to just start to answer some of those. I think if we're okay for time, we'll try and maybe answer those just in the chat itself. I think that's going to be easier if we just pop those into the chat itself. Fiona and I will divide those up. But if you don't get your question answered, pop over to either the St Andrews or the University of Stirling booths. We are there for the next few hours and we'd love the opportunity to chat to you a little bit more.
Thanks very much, Gemma, and thanks everyone for joining us. It was lovely to present to you. Thank you very much for the questions. Gemma and I will pop into the chat, and like she said, if there's any questions later, you can find us in our booths. But I hope you enjoy the rest of the event. Make the most of all the universities being here to ask lots of questions, and maybe we'll speak to you later as well. Thank you, everybody, and take care. I think we might have answered all the questions. I can just see one from Phoebe, so I thought I might answer that live, Phoebe, if that's okay. So you've said, are Scottish universities as expensive for mainland students as English, mainland Europe students for English students? I think Gemma and I have both said in the chat that international tuition fees at all universities in the UK might vary. It's based on the university, so please do check with the universities to see what their fees are. And there was one other question, I think, about how we assess applications. Let me just have a look. Oh yeah, was that from Lou? Just curious if international students have just as much of a chance to get accepted into Scottish universities as Scottish or UK students. So just to quickly give you an idea of how we assess each, we have 3 different fee statuses in Scotland. So you've got home students, which are students who are covered by the Scottish government for their tuition fees. You've got students from the rest of the UK, who pay a rest of the UK tuition fee, which is typically £9,250 per year. And then you've got international students. And we basically assess each cohort of student with other students from that cohort. So international students aren't competing against students from the UK or from Scotland, because it's all based on your fee status. So you'll just be competing against other international students for places at that university. So I hope that makes sense. And I think that's all the questions. So thanks very much, everybody. Thanks, Gemma, as well, for popping into the chat and answering questions too.
Thanks so much, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the event, and yeah, come and speak to us in our booths.
Great. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.